Welcome to Negotiation Made Simple, where we help you master the art of negotiation and win the next deal. I'm your host, John Lowry. Today we have a question from George. George says, "Hi, John. I have a question around salary negotiation. I am an IT program manager working on my firm's largest transformation program ever. I am doing so much more than my title suggests, which is being recognized at least verbally. I have just received a 9% salary increase, which is great, but I feel it is not enough for the work I have been doing. Should I ask for more?" Well, George, first off, congratulations. It sounds like you're doing some incredible work. It sounds like the company that you're doing it for is recognizing your hard work. And so that's a great place to be. And so the first thing I would say is be thankful and be grateful for where you are. One of the things that is disappointing from a hiring manager standpoint is when you go through the hard work of trying to get someone approved for a salary increase, and then you present that increase to them and they turn around and say, "Well, that's great, but I want more." And you feel like they've dismissed the increase that has just been given. And so it's really important in this moment to be careful not to do that. And so the first thing I would tell you is to acknowledge and be grateful for the fact that they have acknowledged your good work and have already provided you with a salary increase. Now, once you acknowledge that and you express appreciation for that, then I think there is an opportunity to say that there is perhaps more that would be more reflective of where you think you should be with respect to your contribution to the company. And so the way I do that, though, is probably pretty softly in terms of saying, I appreciate that. However, as I look, and it would be important to kind of have some data here to be able to establish the value or to be able to show that you could go over here and make the same contribution and make so much more in terms of working for this company. I think it's really important then to establish that and ground that in some data and some facts, as opposed to just saying, "Look, I'm doing all this hard work. We're going through this huge transformation. You've offered me 9%. Well, that's not good enough." That's not how you want to approach this. How you want to approach it is, "Thank you for acknowledging the good work that I've done. I've also been kind of paying attention in terms of what folks that are making my contribution in my position and at my level are making. And, one of the things that I realize is that, I could be making more money at another firm or doing this. And I'm really happy here. I want to keep contributing here. But I would like to be in a situation to where I feel like my compensation is competitive. And as a result of that, it puts me in a situation to where I'm not interested in anything else except continuing to add value and contribute right here." And I think that if you do that, number one, you won't cause any resentment over dismissing what's already been done for you. Number two, you'll just make this more of a math equation in terms of saying, "Okay, I appreciate the acknowledgement, but now let's really look at the data to try to get me to a place that's right." And then be willing to be flexible in terms of the timing of it. If they say, "No, look, 9% is all we can give you right now," then begin to ask questions about, "Okay, well, when can we revisit this?" And they may say a year, they may say 6 months, and you may have to negotiate that in terms of when to revisit. You may want to also establish the basis for when you revisit it. And so you may do something that says, can we both take a look at kind of the market and, where folks that are making my level of contribution in my role, where they are in terms of their comp. Can we look into that and use that in terms of having that conversation in 6 months or whenever it is?" And so begin right now to where even if you're not all the way successful in getting to where you want to get, that you have laid the groundwork to be successful in where you want to get. Salary negotiations and matching salary to your contribution and your value, it is a constant process, but it's important to remember that it's incremental and that many times people, their salary is going to bump up incrementally, year by year, season by season, whatever the case might be. And so recognize that to where it's really hard for a company to go for a 30% increase. But it's much easier for them to do 9, 9, and 9 over a period of time. And so it's important to recognize that, to capture the incremental value when you can, to set up the next conversation and the next moment about your salary or your comp, to be successful by laying the groundwork and by setting the expectation that you're looking for more, not because you're just entitled, but because you've done outstanding work and there's a market out there for your work, but always approach it from the perspective of you'd like to just stay where you are and continue to do what you're doing. And if you do that, you're going to anchor it in what the company wants. And by you giving the company what it wants, it puts you and them in a better position for them to give you what you want. All right, George, thanks for that outstanding question. I want to encourage everyone to submit questions. I love answering these questions. These mini episodes are great fun for me to record. I feel like I get to interact a little bit, and that's a great experience that I think others will benefit from as well. And so even if you think your question may be completely out of left field or maybe irrelevant or not important, please go ahead and submit it, because what happens is we take a collection of questions around the same topic and we'll form it into a particular question that we think will touch on a lot of the questions that we receive. And so by you just sending your question, you just kind of help us affirm the topics that we want to take on in one of these mini episodes. To send your question, admin@lowrygroup.net. Send it via email to admin@lowrygroup.net. Thanks for listening to this episode, and I'll look forward to answering another question on the next one soon.